Welcome to Sage Audio. Today, let's look at how to make a wide mix. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Difference between panning and widening. Before we look into the techniques that you can use to get a wide mix, let's first cover a couple of essentials. The stereo field is comprised of three primary sections. First, let's consider 0 degrees, which is everything that is mono and completely centered. Next is 90 degrees, which is everything to the far left and far right, and everything in between. And lastly, 90 to 180 degrees, which is what we perceive to be mix width. Panning can only place a signal within the 90-degree field, and phase cancellation is what's required to access the 180-degree field. Let's take a listen to panning that places the image between -45 degrees and 45 degrees, or within the 90-degree field, and then delay processing that accesses -90 to 90 degrees, or the 180-degree field. What is mid and side? The mid image is everything that is identical between the left and right channels in a stereo signal. This is sometimes referred to as the phantom mono. The side image is everything between the left and right channels that is different. A processor isolates the side image by combining the left channel with a phase inverted right channel. By combining the left channel with a phase inverted right channel, we use phase cancellation to nullify or completely attenuate any information that's identical between the two, resulting only in what's different, or the side image. Let's quickly isolate the mid and side image to get a better understanding of the signals that they contain. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Using mid-side EQ on a stereo track. With a better understanding of the important concepts from Chapter 1 and 2, let's insert a mid-side EQ on an instrument. Now I'll use Logic Pro's stock EQ and switch the processing to the side image. If I amplify any frequency on the side image, I'll make that range wider. So if I want my drums to have a wider high range, I'll create a high shelf and amplify the highs. Now apply this concept to any other instruments and you have a quick way to widen the mix. Let's take a listen. Duplicating signal using distinct processing. In Chapter 1, I stated that panning can access the 180-degree field if you pan to very similar signals. If we don't have this type of setup in our mix, we could emulate it by duplicating a signal, panning both hard left and right, and then varying the processing on each. For example, if I want a guitar to be wider, I'll duplicate it, pan each track, and then I could EQ one and not the other, or maybe EQ different frequencies. Let's take a listen and notice how the image goes from being phantom center, since the signals are identical, to a mix of different stereo placements. Getting wide but focused vocal. Getting a wide vocal may seem impossible if it's mono, but it's really not too difficult to accomplish. If we use a stereo temporal effect like delay or reverb, the reflections on the left and right channels are going to vary, causing differences between the two channels. With these differences, we now have a side image on our vocal that we can amplify, while the majority of the vocal stays centered and focused. So let's use a reverb on the vocal to create a side image, and then amplify the side image more with a mid-side EQ.
I tell you what the words mean, they don't mean anything. I tell you what the words mean, they don't mean anything.
Mid-side compression on drums. Although you could use mid-side compression on any stereo signal with varying left and right channels, it works especially well on drums. Mid-side compression measures the mid and side signals separately, which often results in the mid image being compressed more than the side. Whenever the mid image is attenuated, but the side is not, there's going to be more side image signal respective to the mid, resulting in a wider image. Let's take a listen and notice how this effect both controls dynamics and widens the image. Today's video is brought to you by Musia, a chord and melody generator that makes creating music and learning new chords incredibly easy. The auto chord feature lets you quickly create chords within a specific key, then transpose them if you need to. The chords it generates always have a very musical progression, and the plugin even lets you switch the genre. Also, you can drag and drop the MIDI that Musia creates into your DAW, meaning you aren't limited to any particular sound. Right now they're having a 30-day free trial, so check that out using the link in the description. Super wide delay trick. When I'm mixing, this is one of my favorite ways to find a unique placement for something within the 180-degree field. All I need to do is insert a sampled delay on a stereo channel and increase the delay of one of the channels by a few milliseconds. If we run a sine wave through the delay, we'll notice that more delay doesn't mean a wider image, just a different placement. So if you listen carefully when you're applying the effect, you could find just the right spot for the signal. Let's take a listen. If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Getting the most from the side image. When mixing or mastering, I sometimes like to separate the mid image and the side one on different tracks or on a parallel signal so that I could process it individually. Now, one way to do this is to send a stereo signal to an aux track and use the free plugin MSED. With this plugin, I'll mute the mid image and then add processing. I like to add some form of upward processing, like maximization or upward compression, to really get the details from the side image before blending in the signal with the auxiliary tracks channel fader. Let's take a listen.
I tell you what the words mean. They don't mean anything. I tell you what the words mean. They don't mean anything.
Expanding transients on the side. Let's use the same setup as we did in the last chapter, but this time instead of an upward processor, let's use transient expansion. Since the side image usually has a fair amount of reverb or other temporal effects, transients are almost always lacking on it, making this a really cool effect. Let's take a listen to the effect that this has on drums and notice how it really augments and widens the instrument. Don't be fooled by ambiguous effects. Some mastering and mixing plugins and hardware like to make stereo imaging more mystical or convoluted than it needs to be. For example, on the Neve Master Bus processor, you'll notice a dial called depth. Now this is really just a shelf or bell filter on the mid image. Or with the Acoustica Celestial plugin, the dimension dial simply amplifies or attenuates a low shelf filter on the side image. Now don't get me wrong, it's a great plugin, but it's something that you could be replicating with a mid-side EQ once you know what the effect is doing. So let's see if we can get the same stereo imaging as Celestial's processing, but by using a mid-side EQ.
I tell you what the words mean. They don't mean anything. I tell you what the words mean. They don't mean anything.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.